My name is Jeremy Laughlin, and this podcast is brought to you by my company, Momentum Worldwide Movers. We focus on providing tailor-made solutions to match the needs and specific requirements of each customer, since every move is unique. Today we welcome Alex Ngai, who came to Tokyo in 2006 with dreams of being a DJ. He started with no connections or language abilities, but eventually was able to achieve his dream. Now he has 2 kids, and he considers spending the rest of his life in Japan and wants to help as many people reach their full potential, especially if they have global ambitions. All right, Alex.
Hey, Jeremy. What's up?
Welcome to the podcast. Yeah?
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you traveled long ways to get here, didn't you?
Just to come and sit down with you on the sofa.
Yeah? Well, thank you very much for joining. So I'd like to kick things off with asking, what was it that got you interested in Japan in the beginning?
Yeah, it's been almost 20 years since I've been here. So, and I originally came as a DJ. So I guess, yeah, if you want to talk about origins, then yeah, when I was in my last year of college, I started DJing, and this was in Boston, and I was just doing a lot of campus parties and club events around Boston, and I don't know how they found out about it, but the Japanese student community, whatever, around Boston started coming to my events, and you know, when we got close to graduation time, everybody's going to job fairs or trying to apply to different positions. And I always knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur, or I just wanted to see how far I could take the DJ thing. And yeah, my Japanese friends, they said like, oh, why don't you just try Tokyo? And I was like, oh, okay, that sounds like fun. And 20 years later, I'm still here.
Yeah, so your friends basically got you interested.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, they kind of planted the seed, I guess, because Japan was never on my radar. I never studied the language. Still don't really speak the language. No connections. I know I look like this, but I'm not Japanese. And
but you studied computer science at university, right?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm similar because I studied filmmaking at university. But then I got Japanese friends, I had Japanese roommates, and as you know, the Japanese kind of foreign student community, they tend to gravitate to each other, right?
Oh yeah,
and They have their Japanese parties and everything like that, and you get invited to those, right?
Well, or they just come.
And so I got really into that, and then one day my best Japanese friend, he said, "Why don't you just study Japanese?" And I did, and then I did the study abroad, and then I fell in love with Japan, and now I live here, and he lives in New York.
Yeah, you guys switch places.
So it does happen like that sometimes, right?
Yeah.
And then you when you moved to Japan, you just came with a few bucks, you came with a few suitcases, right?
Yeah, but there were no bucks, and there was suitcases of records, really. And yeah, I just started going out every night because I didn't know the language, I didn't have the connections. All those Japanese friends were still over in the States, before, and I guess I graduated early and I came out. I don't know. And yeah, I just went out every night and just went to the clubs and just dropped off my CD, dropped off my. No, I didn't have a business card yet. So it was just going club to club and just saying, hey, I'm in town. If you need a DJ, give me a call. And
it must be really easy for you to introduce yourself in Japan because your last name is
Ngai.
Right. So when they ask you what your name is, you're supposed to answer with your last name in Japan, right? So you would say Naides.
Naides, yes.
So that's I mean, I'm really jealous that you have that easy joke, right? That icebreaker, because
that I'm doomed to repeat the rest of my life in Japan. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I guess there's a positive and a negative, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Nai means nothing in Japanese. Yeah.
Right. No, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So you did the DJ thing for a while, Now, can you tell me what that was like? Because when we first met, you told me that you were doing this every day. You had gigs like every day of the week.
No, I peaked at 380 gigs a year
Yeah.
for 2 years, I think. And
Which is
yeah.
hard for me to imagine. So
Yeah, me too.
Can you
Looking back on
describe for the listeners, what was that like? What was that? I mean, you were doing all kinds of different events, right?
Oh, everything, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was exactly what I wanted to do. And you know, when I came here, I was 22. So, I had all the energy in the world and all the ambition, no obligations, nothing. So it was just pure, dream mode. And everything I was doing was just grinding towards that dream. And yeah, like I said, like I didn't have any connections. I didn't have the language. I have nothing. But like, yeah, one club or one event gave me a chance. Of course, I didn't get paid for it. And then later on, I started getting free drinks to play. And then that, things lead to another. And I got a residency. And then I started touring. I started, I did everything I wanted to do in that world. And yeah, that means like just working. And it was everything I wanted to do. I didn't think of it as hard or whatever. It's like it was. That's exactly what I wanted.
You were in your element.
Yeah. I mean, that was the purpose for coming here, and that was my whole purpose of life, really. At that time, was just to get that dream, and I was living it. It was awesome. Yeah.
Okay, but now you don't do that anymore.
No, I don't. No.
Okay.
Not,
Now, is that more of because you have a family now, or is it because you wanted to get more involved in business?
I'll say it's because I achieved the dream, and then nobody really tells you what to do after you get a dream. So I got it, and I was living it, and I did it for about 5 years, I would say, 5-6 years. And then, yeah, I when I was in the middle of it, I realized like, oh, this is cool, but something's missing still, right? And I was in the middle of the dream. I was literally touring stadiums, and I couldn't ignore the fact that somewhere in my heart, I knew this wasn't it. And now I can look back at it, as a 42-year-old, that I can say like, oh, that was because it was like I outgrew that dream, and that was serving me as a 20-year-old. But as I grew up and I matured and I had bigger, I don't know, ambitions. Like just being a DJ and being a successful DJ wasn't enough, and it wasn't enough to fuel the rest of my life. So I would just say I outgrew it, and I did it for that time, and it was fun for what it was, and I gave it everything, and I got everything I wanted out of that world. But there's nothing I need to go back to now. And I could DJ if I wanted to, but I have no interest.
So you were ready for the next chapter.
Oh yeah,
right?
for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can you tell us about what you're doing now? Because what you're doing now is quite a bit different from DJing.
Yeah, so there was probably a 10-year gap between the DJ stuff and what I'm doing now. And yeah, like I said, like after achieving a dream, it's hard to know what to do next. And yeah, so after I got it, I realized like, okay, yeah, maybe performing on stage isn't, driving me anymore. So I went behind the scenes, and I stayed in the music business, but just, doing the production side. And that was more event production, promotion, concert management, stuff like that. And I did that for a little while. But yeah, I think total around 10 years in the music industry. Then I just got out of it. And yeah, I was really just trying everything just to see what would click with me. Because, when I had the DJ dream, like it was so clear what my life purpose was. Like I wake up every day, I got to do something to advance along that course. And when the dream is gone, or after you achieved it, it's like, okay, what do I do now? And so I tried freelancing everything. I was doing graphic design. I was a personal trainer. I was like an English teacher. I was translator, branding consultant, like marketer. You know, I was doing a lot of different things. And
There's a lot of opportunities in Japan.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
tons. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, exactly. Like I've still never had a full-time job, and yeah, yeah, it was just like Japan. I realized was really a land of opportunity for me, and yeah.
So you must have a very unique perspective, because in Japan, most Japanese people, this is a generalization, but they have one career, and this is kind of traditional. But you know,
Yeah.
they'll work for Toyota, they'll work for Sony, and they're there pretty much forever. This has changed a lot over the years, but you know, but it's still pretty common, right?
Yeah.
You know, you have one career, right?
I have none.
Yeah, but that means that you have you're a generalist, right?
Oh yeah.
You know, your experience is multifaceted, and that can be a really beneficial thing, right, for doing business in Japan, right?
Yeah. And for me, it's just really my lifestyle, I guess, and it matches the personality and who I am. It's like I can't really specialize in anything. Like it's yeah. I guess I'm interested in too many different things, and yeah.
So we don't actually have to talk about one of those things, but I know that you help Japanese companies do some export business, right? And how is that going?
Yeah, so after I tried all that freelance stuff, it was, I think, just before COVID, I had kind of a startup or something. It was, so my idea was I combined it like an hour of personal training followed by an hour of English training, basically. So the idea is, you know, after you exercise, you know, you're a fit guy, like, you know, you got the blood running through your brain, right? And you know, it's better for memory retention and, you know, decision making, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'll work out with you for an hour, and then we'll learn English for an hour, and that was my little package. And I was building that up, and I was getting clients for that, but then yeah, COVID hit, lockdowns, and I couldn't meet people anymore. I couldn't go out. So I had to shut that down. But it turns out one of my clients was the CEO of this Japanese fashion company. And he asked me at that time, was like, what are you going to do? And I was like, oh, you know, I have this computer science degree that I've never used. And at that time, I guess for 15 years or something. And he was like, oh, you know, my fashion company has one engineer now and he needs help. Can you help? And I was like, oh, okay, you know, you're basically paying me to learn, but yeah, why not? And then, yeah, so when I entered that company, I was, well, it was a freelance thing anyway, and yeah, I was the only American there, you know, and then I could see how, you know, I could help in ways that other people couldn't, and that's what kind of led me to what I'm doing now. Is so when I started helping that company, they were a pure Japanese brand. Website was all English, products were all English, captions all all Japanese, everything Japanese. Payment methods were all Japanese, and you know those web forms where you have to like fill out like every
I don't even
detail.
want to think about
Yeah,
them,
right.
yeah.
And like, but still they were making a lot of money from non-Japanese customers, and I was like, you know, we have the data. Like you're making a lot of money actually somehow with these you know, basically expats like us, right? And I was like, why don't we actually service these people, right? So I took it on myself to translate the website, translate the payment things, added PayPal, you know, it was like really basic international stuff. And then along the way, like I just kept transforming things little by little internally, you know, help them with their brand purpose, you know, company philosophy, core values, stuff like that, D&I. Yeah.
Did you find that challenging, or was it just you just had to shake some people up? Because it sounds like this company was already it was profitable, it was successful.
Yeah.
But they just had to tweak their global game a little bit to kind of.
Well, they were talking about specialization. They were specialized for the Japanese market, right? And they knew that to keep growing, they needed to go global, right? Because the Japanese market is the Japanese market. But global markets, opens them up to a lot more potential and opportunity. So it was a challenge, but luckily the CEO's, again, was a client friend of mine, and he was really open to this. And it's been 5 years, and really I just came back from Dubai, and I was helping them, at an expo, and then establishing B2B sales in that region, and so I mean. Yeah.
It sounds like you're taking some big steps to help this company.
Oh yeah.
Because you went to New York as well,
yeah,
and that was also connected to this company.
And my other clients. Yeah. So that whole process, this 5 years, from just working with like the inbound side to now doing the outbound stuff, like I realized this is the new dream. Right, and this is something that it's challenging, but it's fun. It's what I want.
It sounds exciting.
Yeah.
Probably there's a lot of work involved in it.
Oh, there's a ton. Yeah.
But it sounds like that's your game.
Oh yeah, and that's where I find the most meaning now is helping these small Japanese like SMBs like transform into global companies.
Great. Okay, I think that's a good point to ask the question about how do you network. Which I already know a little bit about through LinkedIn, and I am not a networking master. No. You were way ahead of me, man.
Barely.
Yeah, I'm just I'm a spectator. So let's talk about maybe LinkedIn first, and then we can talk about your networking. So you have been posting on LinkedIn. Pretty much every day.
It has been every day
recently.
Yes. Yep.
And I read a recent post of yours, and it said, you basically this is a drive of yours is to do this every day. So can you tell me about what do you think the value of LinkedIn posts are and connections are, and do you get a lot of leads through that?
Yeah. Okay. So after my DJ life and until January 1st, 2023, I was completely off social media. Like I just, I have 2 kids, and I was just focused on family life, and like I knew if I was on social media, it would just waste my time, whatever. So I didn't have any accounts. So, but I knew going, when I got serious about this next direction in my life, I realized like I need a way to meet people and get clients and really just start practicing this kind of new, digital generation thing. And so since January 1st, 2023, I have posted at least once a day on LinkedIn until now, May, whatever it is, 2025. And I've been consistent with it, and it has, I will say it has completely changed my life. It is invaluable to who I am and what I do today. And I do not get any customers from that at all. But I do get second-degree referrals, which to me is how I like to meet people anyway. And that's how I like to do business. So a really simple example is probably last summer, I posted a picture of basically like a cloud in Okinawa, and it was from my hotel balcony because I was on vacation with family. And a random comment in there was like, "Hey, I know that balcony," right? And then I took it to the DM, and I was messaging this guy with like, "Oh yeah, it's in Okinawa." That guy has brought me like 3 clients, and we've connected on something completely different. We connected on vacation in Okinawa, right? And there's been other examples like this that
Right.
you know.
So it's more of about the organic connectivity of
Yeah, there's a lot of different philosophies on personal branding, content creation, whatever you want to call it. And the way I take it is, I don't write for any audience, and I don't write for you or the public or anybody. Like I don't care about that million people that might be watching. So I flip that, and the only reason I can keep going really is I post for the people that mean a million to me, and that really just means my kids and me, right? And maybe my wife. But I know she's never gonna read it, so it doesn't matter. But when I'm posting, it's either something that's interesting or funny or something I learned or something inspiring that inspires me. And if I think it's interesting or if I learn something, then or if I think my kids might learn something from it, I'll post it.
do you use AI to do
Never,
the posting?
never, ever, ever.
Yeah,
No.
because sometimes I use AI, but it's actually it's more to give me an idea about how to write it again if necessary. But I often find that when I use AI to rewrite it, it doesn't have the passion
No,
that it has if I was to post it
and
straight up.
you lose all the flavor of you, really. So again, I have this computer science degree, so I got really early on the AI, and I've been a daily user of AI for 2-3 years, but I never use it for writing. That's something it's just my own rule for myself. I do enjoy writing.
It sounds kind of corny, when you use it
Yeah,
for a post.
I mean, it's it's an LLM, so it's just based on everybody else's writing, and it's not going to be able to reproduce your own voice.
It's not unique.
It's not. No, it's not. I mean, it's good for a lot of cases, but yeah, you can tell who uses it and who doesn't. So yeah, I never use it. No.
Okay.
I don't even use it for idea generation, honestly. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so you've been living in Yokohama for about
A year.
a year now. Yeah, with a family.
Mhm.
So what was it like? You're doing this networking now,
Yeah.
and you said that you started this because you don't want to be out late at night.
Right.
When you got a family at home.
Yeah. So this also started as kind of a joke, and I would say 2024 maybe, or 23. I forgot. Like, I just remember getting really bored of Bonenkai, year-end parties in Japan, and it's basically the month of December is just party month, and every client, customer, brand, office.
I can't
whatever.
believe I'm still alive.
Yeah, it's just heavy drinking every night, and same kind of, I don't know, surface level conversation that you're having at every event, and I just first of all I was bored, and then second I'm like, this is wasting time because I'd rather just be eating dinner with my kids, right? So as a joke I threw it out there. I was like, hey, I'm gonna go to Imperial Palace. That was the first location. Imperial Palace at 12 noon, and we're just gonna walk around, and that's gonna be the event. Like, it's kind of my anti-Bonenkai, right? It's like the healthy version, right? And I posted that on LinkedIn, and I think it was LinkedIn only that time. And one person showed up. I was like, okay, it's an event, right? And then since then, I've done that every month. And you've been to a couple, so thank you for coming. Yeah. And we just choose different locations around Tokyo or Yokohama. Most recent one was Minato Mirai, and it's become its own thing, which is really funny. I mean, we've had like 30-40 people show up to these, and we're like, it's just funny walking around. We have like a mob now, but it's great. I love doing it because it really proves to me that there are people like that, like with this, who want to be home with their families at night but have the time in the afternoon to network and want to have more meaningful time with other people. Yeah.
It's also healthy because you walk about 5K, right?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, and we donate money for charity after the walk. So
Right.
Yeah.
So there's that aspect as well. Have you ever considered taking it national, making it
Yeah.
more of an official kind of thing?
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk, and I've been approached by some interesting people. But yeah, I'm not going to stop. It's still every month, and I'm even thinking, like my last trip, to New York and Dubai, Singapore. I should just bring them over there too, and that would be a way for me to meet people.
Do you know the park run?
No.
There's an event. I mean, it's basically you run 5K.
Okay.
In Japan, they do it in 2 locations now. They do it in Futako Tamagawa, and they also do it in Minato Mirai in Yokohama. But it is a global thing.
Really?
It's the park run. And I think there's a charity aspect as well.
Oh, cool.
So you should check it out.
Yeah. We can
do it. Yeah.
5K is an easy run. Yeah.
Oh, fun. Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, 5K is not far at all. Yeah.
No, 5K is easy.
Yeah. So, so you should look into that.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, because the big thing for me is that, when we're walking these things, people just kind of pair up, and instead of like the Bonenkai networking event where you're just spraying business cards everywhere, it's like here when you're walking with somebody, you're talking to them, one person one-on-one for probably 20-30 minutes, and you get to really know the people, right? And or at least have a really good conversation.
It's a bit more natural, I feel.
Yeah.
And especially when you're outside, if you're in a scenic place, it's
Mm-hmm.
just a bit easier. You just feel more comfortable, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I like to think people walk away with better memories of either of the event or of the person that they talk to, or something.
Okay, good stuff.
Yeah.
So the last question is, the last topic is about your future in Japan, and it sounds like you're pretty connected here. So you're probably going to be living here.
Yeah, I plan
for a lot longer.
Yeah, the rest of my life. Yeah.
For the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like I said, I've finally found my next dream, and helping Japanese brands transform and reach a higher potential is really what I want to do. And we talked a lot about the export side, but I also do the inbound side, and that's helping like local ramen shops handle inbound tourists and stuff like that. But for me, it's all the same process anyway. And it's either helping a local ramen shop or helping a fashion brand, go abroad. Like it's all the same transformation. Because who's to say that local ramen shop can't open a chain, overseas too. So this is something I love to do, and it's really just driving everything in my life right now. And this is really what I plan to be my life's work, and I want it to really it connects to my kids, because I think that if more brands go abroad, that also means that's more people coming back, and hopefully when they come back, they would kind of spread their knowledge, and kind of plant the seeds for the next generation to go up.
So it's like
come back. And then if we do this for the next 20 years, then by the time my kids start working, hopefully we'll have a little more global environment in Japan where my kids can reach their fullest potential and not have to really choose between, their American side or the Japanese side or whatever. They can just be exactly who they are and reach, whatever dream they want to have, like just by being themselves and having the environment to support that. That's the whole motivation. Yeah.
That sounds like an excellent dream.
Thank you.
And it's going to take a while.
Oh, yeah. This is the rest of my life.
But you still have plenty of time.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
So I wish you the best of luck with that.
Thank you. Well, with your support too.
And I'll be around to pitch in, of course.
Of course. Yeah.
And thank you very much for coming to the podcast today.
No, I appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for inviting me.
It's always good to see you, sir.
Same here.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.